Hello. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Braille, and if this is the first time you've been on my live streams, what I do simply is I create PedestalWives. I've had a day today, but we're going to have this show must go on. So we're going to talk about the hidden scams of 50-50 that I've been noticing in my DMs and letters from women. So let's just give it a moment for other people to get into the live stream, and then we're going to go ahead and move forward. All right, let's talk about the hidden scams of 50-50 and how ladies, you need to be careful very out here because of the fact that what's happening, men have understood, they understand the assignment for some of them anyway. They understand that they can no longer say, hey, you're going to pay half the bills and now I'm going to pay the other half the bills. And that is the way our relationship is going to flow. Men understand now that that's not going to fly. So what they've done, they resulted in hiding the 50-50. Remember, the devil was in the details. And with you not being aware, you can find yourself in a relationship that is exactly 50-50. And it's not exactly what you signed up for. So let's talk about what that looks like. Because I've gotten a DM that resemble a lot of these scenarios that I'm going to go over today. First of all, if a man tells you that you have to work between 3 to 5 years, and then you're going to be able to retire and be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife, this is a hidden 50-50 scam. Now, how is that? It is a hidden 50-50 scam because a lot of women, well, not just women, most people don't understand that when people make more money, a lot of time they get in more debt. So if you start out working within the relationship, first of all, you're setting a standard in a relationship when you start off working. Remember, over here, being a smart dependent means that you pass a headache on, and also that you don't try to go into and make yourself a worker. Making yourself a worker will mean that you're a worker and they will put you to work. So the reason why 3 to 5 years, it sounds good to some of you ladies because you don't understand what the 50-50 scam and how it's been hidden now. Because the more money you make, and these are the things you should ask yourself too. The more money you make, the more money you all combine your resources and financial resources together and y'all make, you're going to get into more debt. And then what happens when that 3-year mark come up and you're ready to start working, but you have more debt? See, this is the trap because you're going to have to just continue to work in order for that lifestyle to be afforded that you've gotten accustomed to. And if he could not afford you to be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife, then when he adds your income to it, he is going to get in more debt. And that's something we don't think about. Women are not thinking about, is the debt going to increase? Are we going to get into more debt and we're going to need my income? Am I going to get to a space where I can't just quit or I can't just consider other options because of the fact that my income is dependent on our lifestyle? And see, no one ever likes to go backwards. We all like to go forward. So let's say you do get into this 50-50 trap and you start working with him and say, well, I'm going to work for 3 years and then I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife. You get in this trap and then y'all start getting into debt. You buy a house, you buy land, you buy new cars, you buy things. And those things can keep you trapped because if he couldn't afford to make you a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife in the beginning of the marriage, he won't be able to make you one in 3 years once you accumulated so much debt. See, this is the reason the things that women don't think about when they accept these type of proposals. You don't think about, okay, is our debt going to remain the same? Are we going to incur more debt? Is our lifestyle going to change? These are questions that you have to ask yourself so that you can, make sure that you can spot the 50-50 traps that are out there. Another 50-50 trap that I come across in my DMs from young ladies asking me this is, what happens if you come into the relationship working and he is working, right? And then he tells you to save all of your paychecks. And then your paycheck is going to be used for a house and land. See, this is another way to 50-50 trap you. Because when you're told that your income is not going to be used to your benefit and you're not going to have options for your income because it's already determined what's going to happen with your income, there's no freedom in that choice. And a lot of men will use this, will say, hey, you take all of your income, save it up, and that's what we're going to buy our house at with. That's what we're going to buy our house land with. That's what we're going to buy a new car with. And see, this, what happens with this, you end up with none of that money. That money doesn't benefit you. It may benefit both of you all, but it definitely will benefit his bottom line because he's not going to have to work harder or increase his income in order to afford everything he needs to have. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 50-50 trap. These are the hidden 50-50 scams that are currently out there where men are saying, hey, you work for 3 to 5 years and save up all of your paycheck stubs. And then you're going to be the one to pay for the land, the house, the car, and all of the new things and the new toys. And your income is gone. And some ladies, you have to start asking yourself, when you're presented these proposals, how does this proposal benefit you? Does this proposal prevent him from increases in income? Does it prevent him from working harder? Does it prevent him from going into another level of masculinity? And if you can say with no with any of those questions, then you don't need to do it. That is how you question yourself and make sure you're asking yourself the correct questions. And this way you won't get caught up in that 50-50 trap. You won't get caught up in that 50-50 scam. And another one that I've heard too recently is men telling women that you're going to pay for the utilities and I'll pay for everything else. See, this sounds good to some of you ladies. I don't know and understand why it sounds good, because it sounds good to some of you ladies. I get this question all the time. So the utilities, if you pay all the utilities and then he pays everything else, the thing is, I think women don't understand the mindset of a man, and men who actually get women to work for themselves and not work for themselves per se, but work for him. When a man is able to twist his words or have a word salad into making you feel like y'all are a team and you're on the same team and y'all are partners and everything is going to be to the betterment of your income and his, you all get caught up and distracted. And this is how you get duped when you hear stuff like this, because when it comes down to those utilities, the money that goes to utilities and it coming out of your pocket, how does this benefit you, ladies? And that's one of the things you have to ask yourself. How would this benefit me? How would this make my life better? Or am I going to be paying out debt? Am I going to be not receiving any benefits from this situation? You have to ask yourself this, because this is another 50-50 scam. You paying for utilities and he's paying for everything else. It still relieves the burden off his income, but it doesn't relieve the burden off of your income. And the thing is, when a lot of women don't want to realize or recognize that when you decide to take the burden off of him, this prevents him from increasing his income. This prevents him from going to that next level in masculinity. This prevents him from getting into that leadership role. It prevents him from developing the logical skills that he needs to succeed in the world. If he has to, in any form or fashion, depend on you to get to that next level, you have successfully prevented him from going to that next level. And this is the reason why women complain about men being babies, being where they have to mother them and they have to take care of them and they don't know how to make decisions on their own. And that's because of the fact that a lot of the times men are dealing with women who are willing to take the burden off of them. And when they take that burden off of them, you don't understand that being in the trenches makes him a man. Being in the trenches makes him a man. So you taking that burden off of him and not allowing him to go to that next level mentally that he needs to go to, the next level of leadership, the next level of knowing, he could actually be stagnant for years to come because some woman stepped in and decided to take on his financial burden. But women don't want to have this conversation. It's an important conversation to have. Another 50-50 scam that keeps coming across my DM is women are actually being proposition to take care of themselves, essentially. And what I mean by that, men are approaching women and saying, hey, you take care of yourself and I'll take care of mine. Now, I'm trying to understand, why would that even benefit a woman? Why would you even consider getting in a relationship where you're going to take care of yourself and he's going to take care of himself? Then you might as well be single. There's no benefit to that type of relationship. But some women are falling for it. And this is a 50-50 scam. And we have to make sure that when you're looking at these proposals and a man is propositioning you about what type of relationship you're going to have proceed forward with, make sure you ask yourself important questions. One of the first things I've noticed for women is that you already kind of know there's something wrong because you be confused, or you be in my DM and you're asking me, does this sound right? If the first thing that when you listen to that proposal and he's propositioning you for your relationship to go a certain dynamic or certain direction, ask yourself, are you confused? Because that is the first sign that there's an issue with the proposition, or that you feel like you're not going to benefit from it. And if that is so, then you need to get clarification. Don't walk away with confusion. This is the things that women do. Women get confused by the proposition because it sounds good. It sounds like it's going to benefit them. But if it doesn't benefit you emotionally, financially, it doesn't benefit you overall. And when I say benefit, I mean make your life better. If it's not making your life better for him to be in it, then why even sign up for that proposition? There's no reason to actually put yourself through something that's not going to benefit you. You can really do bad all by yourself. You can do good by yourself. You can live by yourself. You can take care of yourself by yourself. If you're getting in a relationship just for the last name, or just for the IRS, or just because of some childhood dream, I would suggest that you don't, especially if it's not going to benefit you. Remember, when a man comes into your life and he is not making sure that he brings value to your life, he's not bringing to make your life better, then what is his reason to be there? You can do these things on your own. You can take care of yourself. You've been doing it so far so good. So why would you actually add someone that could be a hindrance or a deficit to your life? So make sure that you ask yourself those questions, because the hidden 50-50 scams it's in the wording. It's how they word it. You need to be listening for certain things. And those certain things are like, you work for a certain amount of years and we say, well, your income, or you work until you have your baby. That's the most popular one that I've seen so far, is that you work until you have the first child. The thing is, I understand what happens. More money, more problems. What that means, the more money that's received in the household, the more money that is coming in the household. What happens is people tend to increase their debt. So if you're increasing your debt and he's not increasing his income, how can he ever give you the ability to be a stay-at-home mom in the first place? And these are things that women are not really thinking about. If you can't afford to have me be a stay-at-home mom in the beginning of the relationship, what makes me think that he's going to be able to do it on my dime in 3 to 5 years? Because of the fact that what's going to happen is how women get stuck in a cycle where they're going to have to continue to working. They're going to have to continue working because they have incurred more bills and more debt, and that requires you to continue to work. If you don't think about these things before you get into a marriage, you can get stuck in that cycle. I literally talk to other women all the time where they're truly much right now, they're stuck in a 50-50 relationship, and they're trying to think of how to revert it, how to change the dynamic of that relationship, because they didn't want to be in one. They didn't really think it through. When it was offered to them, it wasn't offered to them as a 50-50 relationship, because not a lot of people are saying, oh, we in 50-50 anymore. What they're disguising it as, you pay this, or you pay this certain amount of bills every month, and then maybe after a couple of years, you're going to be at stay-at-home. Or maybe after the first baby, you're going to be at a stay-at-home. So you have to actually listen to the wording. The wording is super important. And if you feel confused, get clarification. I need clarification. I'm confused. Do not walk away or accept something where you feel confusion in the first place, because it is the intent for people men hiding 50-50 is for them to use wordplay on you, for them to actually get you lost in the wording, lost in you getting married, lost in you having babies, lost in you getting the things that you always dreamed about, but you're not really thinking about the financial aspect of it. So it's important. Most people do not, and what I mean by this, most people who have not a clear understanding of financial literacy, they do not, they increase their income. They also increase their debts. And increasing your debt is going to be the one that's going to keep you in that 50-50 loop. That's going to keep you where you're not able to go and come out because you had a baby, or you're not going to be able to stay out as long as possible to heal once you've had that baby, because those bills are calling, especially if you sign up to actually be responsible for those bills. Then you're going to have to actually come back as soon as possible. And that is the thing. Women in the household that have babies, women in the household who actually nurture the home, women in the household who have to control the energy, you have to have a flexible schedule. Women should not be signing up for things where you don't have a flexible schedule. When I mean a flexible schedule, I mean it should be in your hands whether you work or not. It should not be a requirement. You should not get into a relationship with a man where it is a requirement that you work outside of the home unless you desire to do so. But when these hidden 50-50 scams, they're no longer letting you know up front. A lot of times it's in the wording, it's in the proposition, it's in the proposal of what they want you to do in the relationship. And women are getting stuck in that. And now after a while, I get that DM and they be like, okay, well, how do I get out of this? The thing is, now you're in a position, you got an issue now because of the fact you signed up to be in something, not understanding what was the plan. What is the plan? And that's something you need to come back with and ask him, what is the plan? If you have to keep my income on the books, I have to have an income for me to stay at home. What is the plan? And how in the world is that going to allow me to be able to stay at home if you can't afford for me to stay at home now? Asking these questions will help you not get caught up in that trap. Listening to the wording of how he's delivering the proposition will help you not get caught up in that trap. Anything that says you're going to work for a certain amount of years, anything that says after the baby, then you can quit working, anything that says you're going to pay this amount of money every month, anything that says you're going to take care of yourself and I'm going to take care of myself, then you know that it's not a proposition or proposal that's going to be beneficial to you. Being in a relationship that's not beneficial to you is actually something you need to think about. It's actually better to be single than to be in a relationship where you're not getting any benefits from. But pay attention to the hidden 50-50 scams, because they're no longer saying, hey, I want you to do 50-50 with me. They're no longer saying those things. What they're doing is hiding it in the wording. They're hiding it in the wording because they know women are ready to get married. They're ready to settle down. They're ready to have babies. They want to have the relationship they've already dreamed of having. And don't get so caught up in all of that you don't see the forest for the trees. You don't see the fact that you're paying for your own lifestyle, that he is actually asking you to bring tangible things to the relationship when women are supposed to bring intangible things to the relationship. That is our portion. That is what we've always brought to a marriage. We've never brought tangible things to a relationship. We always brought the intangible. Men have brought the tangible. We've brought the intangible. And it's always been a beautiful relationship. But when we have currently, with society and the way everything's going now, and women who are signing up for these things and getting stuck in them, and yes, getting stuck in them, because there are some women currently, they're in these situations and they wish they never signed up for it. They wish they listened to the wordplay and they wouldn't have got so excited about the word marriage or the word having a relationship or having children. Women are trying to get out of these things currently today. And this is the reason why I'm giving you some tips on how do you check that. How do you make sure that you're not get caught up in the wordplay, that the proposition, the proposal that he's giving you is going to be beneficial to you? First of all, like I said before, the first sign of it is confusion. A lot of time, confusion is the first sign. What I mean by that, usually you walk away kind of befuddled. You're really like, hold up, something's wrong with this. Something does not sound right with his proposal. Something don't sound with his proposition. Why do I feel like I'm still going to be working, even though he's saying that he's going to be taking care of the bills 100%? When you start getting things assigned to you in the financial area of the financial aspect of your relationship, then that is a red flag. Then you already know there's going to be more things that are going to be assigned for you, because what you're willing to take on, a man will continue to give it to you. See, this is the reason why standards are so important, that you have to be very careful what you're willing to say yes to and what you're willing to take on for yourself. Because when you're willing to take on one bill, then you take on two. Then you're willing to take on two bills and you take on three. Then you're willing to take on three bills and you take on four. And that is the way it happens. This is the reason why we can go in a relationship thinking that he's taking care of all of the debt or all of the bills, and then they end up looking around and they end up having more debt and bills that they're responsible for that they weren't even thinking they were going to have to be a part of. And that is what the 50-50 scam is. That's what's currently happening to women. Women are not doing their due diligence and asking the correct questions to make sure that you're not getting caught up in these things. Like I said before, the first thing is confusion. The second thing is to listen to if you have to work a certain amount of years in order for you to be a stay-at-home mom. That's a trap. Because the reason it's a trap, because what happens is more income, more debt. And this means more people cannot just go and say, I'm not going to work anymore. If there's more debt, usually someone has to work more, especially when he hasn't had to increase his income. With marrying you, he didn't have to increase his income. Marrying you, he didn't have to work more hours. Marrying you, he didn't have to get a better job. And this is the reason how you get trapped in that 50-50. Another one is you're going to work until there's a baby. If he can't afford to sit you down right now, if he can't afford to make you a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife today, then he may not be a good option for you, especially if you're not trying to go 50-50 because of the fact that it is money. Finances are the most important thing, and I'm going to tell you this why, because it is also the most important, the number one reason why divorces happen. All the other things that go into relationships, the ups, the downs. Some of you have experienced cheating. Some of you have experienced so many different things in a relationship. But the number one thing that breaks a relationship is money. The number one thing that starts an argument is money. The number one thing that messes with your lifestyle and the children that you're going to have is money. So money is important. You hear me saying it today. Money is absolutely important. You need to pay attention to, does this man have enough money to sit me down today? If I want to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home period, can I do so? If he cannot do that without seeing I need to bring some income or finances to the table, then baby, he is not the one, because it is not worth it to build your family, build your lifestyle, have your children, and then have to part ways because of finances or part ways because someone doesn't want to increase their income or get more education or do what it takes to make sure that a family is thriving. And I can tell you here, you need these things to have a thriving family. Families cost money. Families are super expensive. One of the things I spent today is going to urgent care. Do you know a lot of times that going to urgent care is not covered by insurance, and you have to actually pull out them funds, pull out that card. And because one of my daughters was sick today, so I had to run around, and this is the reason why the live is late. But the thing is, what makes it easy is having money to swipe that card, to take her to the doctor when she needs to swipe that card to get the medicine that she needs, to swipe that card to make sure she's in comfort. And I'm able to get all the things that I need to get because their finances are in order. But if you sign up to be in a relationship when their finances are not in order, baby, you're signing up for struggle. You're signing up for financial struggle. You're signing up for not being able to give your kids the most nutritious meals. You're signing up for not being able to get your kids in the best schools, because honestly, getting in the best schools is attached to your zip code. It's attached to where you live at. And these are things that are important. Your family being able to thrive takes money. So do not go in it or take it lightly. I need ladies to stop dismissing money and saying it doesn't mean a thing. I am so over, and I hate it when I see these little clips where I see especially Black women talking about money doesn't matter. I'm so over that and tired of it, because I can see and understand what type of life you're signing up for when you don't have the funds. You're signing up to give your kids less. You're signing up to eat foods that are not the best. You're signing up not to be able to go to the best schools. And baby, if you look at any of the statistics, any of the numbers, when your child has the best options in life, you're giving them the best foot forward. They can do and mingle with the best people that they're going to be able to not only make friends with, marry, and you're just giving them the best options. Yes, you can start off badly in the worst neighborhood or, in poverty or having less than, but why would you even sign up to not allow your children to thrive? That is my, when I think about these things, I don't understand it. Like, it blows my mind that women are not even thinking about these things. Like, how can you even not think about giving your family the option to thrive, your family the option to be able to live their best life, your family options to go on vacation, to eat the best food, to mingle with not only, I ain't gonna say the best people, but mingle with possible people that could be excellent husbands and wives. being able to be in these type of neighborhoods that give you options and that they can walk outside. There's hardly no crime. Give your children the best options and give them the ability to thrive, not just survive. I want your children to thrive. So in order to do so, you have to actually start thinking about these 50-50 scams and stop signing up for them. Stop signing up for them. Stop thinking, well, I love him. I don't mind paying for half. I don't mind for taking on half of the responsibilities. I don't mind for doing half of this and half of that and stressing yourself out. Sometimes a lot of women started out like that. I guarantee you this. I'm going to tell you what I know now as being an older woman is that you get older, you get tired. And getting tired means that you don't have the energy that you had when you was a young woman. So when young women are signing up for these things, signing up for 50-50 when they're young and vibrant and thriving and thinking they have the energy to do any and all of it, baby, that stuff slows down. So be prepared. Yes, you can still be healthy, but it still slows down. You don't have not the patience, you don't have the energy for BS anymore. And this is the reason why I set yourself up for success, so that you can have not only yourself thrive, but your family thrive. And that is what is more important. It is more important to have you and your kids to thrive versus you sitting here trying to give a man a break. Because that's what it is. When you sign up for 50-50, you're giving a man a break. You're taking on half of his responsibilities. You're hindering him and harming him, because this means that he doesn't have the chance to sit here and think about what he's going to do in order to get to that next level, because he doesn't have to. You're making his life more comfortable. You're making his life easier. You're helping him thrive. But what do you get out of that? What do you get out of 50-50? A lot of women don't get what is given. It's not getting what is given. And a lot of women really just regret it. The older women that's around my age has been in a 50-50 relationship. I get plenty of DMs and plenty of messages where they just regret it. They regretted signing on for this when they were younger because they didn't realize what it takes to have a family to thrive. They didn't understand that eventually they're not going to get any younger. You get older and you want more comfort when you get older. You want to be able to relax when you get older. And they didn't sign up. Pretty much they put themselves in a situation where they're not going to be able to relax as they get older because they've signed up for 50-50. They signed up to work a lot more years and they're not retired. They're not taken care of. And they are in a position that I don't want my young ladies to be in. I want you to really think about the position you're putting yourself in before you sign up for it. Don't get caught up in the trap of emotion, the trap of loving, the trap of I feel for you and I want to be with you. And you don't really think about how is this going to affect you in the long term. See, that's the thing. It's longevity is long term. Where will you be in 5 years if you signed up for the 50-50 trap? Where will you be and how would you feel? Will you still feel the same way? A lot of women don't feel the same way once you're actually doing it. Once you're actually doing the 50-50, they don't feel the same way. They actually regret the decision of being in it because of the fact that now they're in this position where the income that they have, the lifestyle that they have is all dependent on them continuing to work. So they can't even rest. So let's see what everybody's saying. Hello, everybody. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Hello, PedestalWife. Hi, ladies. How are you doing? What is the plan? Good question to ask after the baby comes in. What, the income? You should be asking about that plan before you get a baby, before you marry, before you do anything to connect yourself or attach yourself to that man. Please ask yourself, what is the plan? Especially when he start putting out years, saying you have to work for 3 years, 5 years. I don't care how many years. He said you have to work before you can able to sit at home and be a stay-at-home wife. You need to find out what is the plan, because a lot of times what's going to happen is he's dependent on your income in order to go to that next level. And you'll figure out that plan once you listen to him explain it. But a lot of women are not listening to the explanation. They're so happy about getting married. They're so happy about getting a relationship. They're so happy about starting a family. And they're not thinking about the longevity or the decisions that's going to accompany that. Another way they 50-50 you is by knocking you up with multiple children to make sure you're caught up and that you can't work. Women in poverty must be stay-at-home moms because their husbands can't afford children. That's true. Honestly, if you were to go and look at a lot of statistics, they said the men that make like under $25,000, Their wives are stay-at-home moms, and the reason for that is because they can't afford daycare. And that just means that you are both in poverty. You are both, lacking finances, and then also a lot of times you're also lacking in insurance and all of the necessities that a child needs to thrive. So that is an important point. Thank you, PedestalWife. When men are constantly knocking, especially men who are unable to afford children, are knocking their wives, their girlfriends up over and over and over, and these women are staying at home, but there's no niceties, like I like to say. They don't get any benefits from doing that. Most of the time they're there in abject poverty, and that's something, the conversation we need to have these conversations about this. Because what happens is he has a low income, then he has multiple children, and she can't go to work in the first place. She is stuck there. Well, I ain't gonna say stuck. She has to be there because really they can't afford daycare. So they continue to have all of these children, and then children, they're the ones that reap the repercussions. This means these children don't get into the best programs. They don't live in the best neighborhoods. They don't get the best nutrition. They don't get to thrive in a manner that families who actually, have a higher income. And this is statistics. These are not me saying anything or, hitting back at people who are lower income. I'm just saying, if you were to go do the research, you realize that some men that are making between $25,000 to $30,000 a year, normally they have a lot of children. The mom is at home because of the fact they can't afford daycare, and the kids doesn't get the niceties of being a child. And women these days, women are not really having this conversation. They don't think about, okay, what benefits, like if you don't care about yourself, let's say you're not as self-focused as you should be. Maybe you don't think about how things, affect you, or you don't think about how things are going to benefit you. You're not in that mindset yet. But if you don't want to do that, and you're not that person who thinks like that, start thinking about your children. If it doesn't ring a bell, it doesn't shake you up, it doesn't make you think a little deeper before you do things, think about your future children and think about what do you want them to have? How would you want your children to live? Okay, let's forget about you, because some of you ladies don't even like to think of yourself as, you don't like to have that self-focus on yourself. You don't like to be spoiled. You don't like to be entitled. You don't like to feel like you deserve it because you think there's something wrong with that. You think that's mean girl, and that's just not a good place to be. So think about your children before you make these type of decisions. How would your children live? How would they thrive? What would you be able to offer your children? Because yes, children are a blessing, but the children deserve more than what we're giving. They deserve all the good things because they didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask for you to have them. So even if you're not thinking about yourself and what position you're going to be in, if you get in this type of relationship, I want you to think about your children. Will your children be able to go on field trips? If your children need tutoring, would you be able to afford it? Tutoring is super expensive. I had at least a couple of my children on tutoring, and that could be $100 to $200 a week in tutoring. If your child needs to be picked up back and forth for after school specials and after school education because they're doing something to move forward faster in education, would you be able to do that? Or would that hinder you because you got to work? Or would it hinder you because you all can't afford to go back and forth to the school? See, these are things you need to start thinking about as far as your children. Even if you do not want to think about yourself, even if you like, oh, I don't like being self-focused. I don't like to just think about what I need. Because some of you are in that space. Some of you don't like to think about what you need. You don't like to think that you deserve anything. You don't like to think you need to be entitled. You hate to even think that you would ever or have to be a mean girl in this world. So since you don't want to think about you, think about them. How does it benefit them for you to be with this man? For you to have his children, how does it benefit you? Does it allow you to be able to live a lifestyle and give your kids a lifestyle that you didn't even have growing up? Does it allow your kids to thrive? Would they be able to go to the best schools? Would they be able to go on vacations? Would they be able to see the world? These are things you have to ask yourself before you sign on to that. Because when you sign on to that and you haven't thought about how that is going to benefit the children, because, hey, you're not thinking about yourself. Some of you are not thinking about yourself. You're not concerned with yourself. You don't think you deserve. You don't think you're spoiled. You don't think you're entitled. So let's put you aside, and I want you to start thinking about your children. Will your children thrive in this environment? Will your children have all of the options? Will your children be able to go to school, college? Do you realize how expensive college is? I got one that's graduating in January with no loans. I will have another one that's going to graduate soon here in the next year and a half. And then I got two more that's going off also. And they will go with no loans. They will never have any loans going to a college. But will your child have the same opportunities if you decide to sign up for 50-50? If you decide to get with a man who is not going to benefit you and your children or future children, how would that affect you? And see, these are the things you have to start asking yourself and question yourself. Like I said, even if you don't care about you're not as concerned about how you're going to live your life, think about your children. How are they going to live theirs? Because they didn't ask to be here. Anytime you can't afford hire help, you're in a trap too. Don't get it twisted. Only the well off and the very. Yeah, you should be able to you should be able to hire help if you need it. It should not be to you shouldn't have to be responsible for all the things. That's one of the things that it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's an old thing. And it's just been repackaged as if you're not doing such and such, if you're not cleaning, you're not cooking, you're not always busy, you're not always doing the hustling, you're not always being this and that, then you're not a woman. And that's been packaged to us currently. That's what is being pushed to us currently. But I say nay and no. I say absolutely not, because I know for facts that a woman should have options and your schedule should be flexible, which means you shouldn't be required to do these things. Now, if you want to cook, fine. If you want to clean, fine. But not having the options to be able to hire someone to get help when you need it, women don't even think about the fact that you could get sick. I've gotten sick. And one of the things about and the blessings of being married to the person I married, and the reason I'm thankful that I married well, is that I'm able to take that time to do the things I need to do to make sure that I'm healthy. This means I can hire out for things that I need help with and not have to do it myself when I'm not physically able to do it. And this is the thing that women don't think about. Hey, I might get sick one day. I might not be able to do all the things. I might not be able to handle all of the roles and do all of the things and run here, run there, and rip and run throughout the streets and be responsible for this and that. Women don't think about that. Ask yourself, are you in a position where you can, if something happens to you today and you get sick, or something happens to you today and you get in an accident, or something happens to you today, can you take time off and financially be okay? And if you can't do that with the person you're currently with, then you need to find another person to be with. And if you're already married to that person, you need to have a conversation, because I'm not one of those people that break up marriages, but you definitely can have a conversation with him if you already married him at that space where he is not able to take care of everything if something happens to you. And a lot of families have experiences with the big C out here, that one person had to be at home and one person had to be at work, and it cut their income in half. See, the thing is, you should always be thinking of preparation, or before you get into a relationship, if this happens, am I going to be okay? If this happened, am I going to be a stay-at-home, fine and dandy, and still live the same lifestyle that I always live? And that's one of the things I want you to start asking yourself, these important questions, so you don't get caught up. You don't get blindsided by 50-50 and realizing that you're in a relationship where if you're not working, if you're not doing all of the things, if you're not wearing multiple hats, would this relationship survive? Would it thrive? Would it be able to be a healthy, happy relationship, or will it fall apart because you're not able to do all those things? This is the reason why, if you don't realize that when women get sick, men leave. Men leave. A lot of times when women get sick, men leave. This is the reason why. Another aspect of the combinations that women need to start thinking about these things. Stop just thinking about you and how it affects you. Think about how it affects your children. Think about what happens if you get sick. Think about if your finances are needed in the first place, that means he's not able to take care of you. When you're using singular wording, it's directed at you, it's time for you to leave. Amen. Poor produce stay-at-home moms for different reasons. Yeah, they do. They produce it for a different reason, and it's not thriving. It's not thriving. I would not want to sign up to have children to come up in those circumstances. I want my children, and I hope you want those same things for your children, to be able to thrive, to be able to travel, to be able to go to school without debt. to be able to live their best lives. And when it's time to go on field trips, when it's time to go out with friends, I want to be able to give those things to them and not have to be like, oh, well, I don't have it. I don't want to have to say those words to my children. But you have to actually plan your life. You can't just throw things at the wall and hope that it's gonna stick, or that he's gonna turn out well, or he's gonna change everything around, or he's gonna increase his income to be able to take care of you and some children. You need to be looking at what is he currently doing now? Can he currently where he's at? If he was to stay where he's at right now for the next 5 years, could he take care of a family? If he can only take care of himself, sis, move on. Don't put yourself through all of that, because he's only going to need you for help. He's only going to need you for his benefit. He's only going to need you for his bottom dollar. He's only going to need you to increase his finances. And women, we want to be chosen for us, not because of the things that we bring, like money, that brings things we bring, like financial success. We want to be chosen for us. Men who make low wages and have a lot of children and the mom is at home means that the woman and mom is always highly stressed and yell at children, causing anxiety and fear. When poor men produce children, it's all about them being immortal. Absolutely. And that is what's going on. What's that guy name? I'm trying to think of a celebrity. That's what's going on with Nick Cannon. I never discussed him on my page because I truly do believe celebrities are for the streets. So I don't really discuss celebrities. But that's the reason why he's having so many children. He got sick. He realized that he could die, so he started having children. And see, that's unhealthy. Even he is looking at children in not the right light. It's not healthy the way he's looking at children. He's looking at children as a way to carry on his DNA versus carrying on his legacy. And this is how you know he doesn't have the mindset of a healthy, high masculine energy man. He's those toxic kind with a high income. And you have to absolutely understand or see the difference so you don't get trapped by those type of men also. But a woman who is constantly surrounded by poverty, a woman who's constantly surrounded by lack, a woman who's constantly surrounded in a space where she can't move, she can't do the things she wants to do, of course she's going to have a high anxiety. Of course she's going to have fear. And this is not the way to live, ladies. Living in fear, living in anxiety, living about everybody has problems, but constantly being concerned with, okay, how I'm going to eat, how I'm going to pay these bills, how I'm going to take care of everything around me. That is not something I want women to sign up for. I want women to start making smarter choices so that you have a better life and livelihood. But you can't do that if you sign up for 50-50 or sign away your livelihood, sign away your financial freedom, sign away from you ever being able to get with a guy that's going to be able to take on you and your children 100%. If you actually sit here and just go for that low-hanging fruit, you're not going to get to the top tier man that's going to be able to take care of you and the children fully, financially, 100%, versus you pitching in and take for your keep, paying for your own upkeep. Because that's truly what it is. 50-50 is just you paying for your own upkeep. It's just two people in a relationship who's able to take care of themselves and just getting together to live a life, build a life, and have children. All right, but that is all I have for the 50-50 scam. I want you to be very careful and listen to, pay attention if you're confused, pay attention to the wording, pay attention to if they say anything along the lines of it's going to take some years, or if they say anything about have a baby first and then, or if they even talk about just splitting bills with you in specific bills like the utility bill or cell phone. Pay attention to those things. And also pay attention to say, hey, let's get together and you pay for yourself, I pay for myself, and that's how we're going to live. There's no benefit for that. You can stay by yourself and still pay for yourself and thrive by yourself. Remember, women bring intangible things to a relationship, not tangible. When you start getting around a man, he starts listing out certain tangible things that you bring to a relationship, like credit, money, even work experience and information. I would start really thinking about that thing, thinking about actually going to a relationship with him. You should absolutely have a red flag over that idea, that proposition or proposal, because of the fact that he's not talking intangible, he's talking tangibles. And that is how you determine if it's a scam or the 50-50. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a great one. Bye.